Hello everyone, my name is Adam the Gallant. That's not actually my name, but it's my name. Anyways, so I'm making a random video today. I got a little bit of peach fuzz up here. So I bought, because I got the money and headphones have become my thing. I bought these Samson's SR850 because I watched Stank Pods and he was doing a video about headphones and he's recommended these because he said they're very good for a very cheap price. This is what they look like in person. Like, this is... And yes, I know the windows opening the curtains is actually the best way for the light. This camera is kind of finicky. It's better than what I had, but we don't talk about it, Bruno. They swivel a little bit. At least I think they do. These are open backs, which means that there's a bunch of little holes here and shit can come through. So, and essentially, from what I understand, it helps make audio be more 3D. So usually when I am listening to music, I want to just talk about. I'm just making this video off the cuff because I want to. As simple as that. I just want to. There's a tangle of cords on my desk right now. Oh no. I mean, because I don't really make videos very often, so I figured it would be kind of appropriate. I was about to say inappropriate. Inappropriate? Sorry, there's just a gaggle of fucking cables on my desk right now. Okay, I think I have gotten it resolved. Anyways, so, this came with one of these 4.4mm, I believe it is, balance jacks. Adapters already on. It is actually a 3.5. I would test... Oh, I have an Xbox controller. Yes, it is a 3.5. Looks a little smallish, but it's really designed for this. Anyways, I guess that's just in case. Anyway, so it comes with that. It comes with one of these already on there. Now, I use a headphone amp. It's just one I bought off Amazon that had decent reviews. Now, normally... And the thing I like is that this is just a straight cable. It's a straight, flat cable. Normally, when I am at my computer, I use these Sony MDR-7506s, which are also reference headphones. They're both reference, at least they both claim to be. I know these are. These are studio monitors. I like these. These are closed back. Now, my experience with headphones, I don't like on-ears, and I've never had open backs. Everything has always been over-ear or earbuds that go in. Prior to switching to these MDRs, I use these. These are TruthEarXCrinacle Zero Reds. They are IEMs. They are very good, and I plan to get a digital audio player, which is what basically which is basically modern MP3 players. Sorry, if I'm recalling correctly. My brain went completely blank for a second there. Anyways, so I usually use these, but I want to try these. And so I'm going to... And these did not come with a 4-point. This came with my amp, and it's a 3.5mm headphone jack at the end. Ooh. So... This one looks, but did test this. That adapter on the Samsons will work on this, and you just screw it in. So it is an industry standard. But I want to test this out. I'm gonna play some Scarlet Fire, like Think Pods does. I'll play about 20 seconds, and then I'll stop and switch. And it's just like, what's the big difference, right? And then I'll show I pulled off 2 graphs that show how the frequency response of both of these. That's just for the sake of it. But, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with my Sony MDRs. I've also seen people replace the pads on these to like thicker pads, and I wonder if You know what? Yeah, but like, I'll. So I wonder if maybe that would help make them sound better because they give you a little more space from the thing, or maybe better ceiling. So that goes into the amp. But yeah, just to talk on this real quick. I agree because this, like, okay, my bed's right there. So I like to lay in my bed. When I lay in my bed with these, the cable just, while it will stretch, after a certain amount, it just kind of wants to sag, and that pulls a little bit of weight this way, so I can't just, like, lay down my bed with this plugged into my amp and listening to music on my PC, even though I actually could, because the cable's long enough, so that is something of note. Also, I think that would work. I think I could lay in my bed with the Samsons and listen to, lay right there. That will be personal things. I'm sorry, you don't get to see me laying down in my bed. And also one more thing, just so people can know, if you want to know, these are 32 ohms. And they are 10 hertz to 30 kilohertz for the frequency response. Alright, so you're going to hear Scarlet Fire. Obviously, it's going to be on YouTube, so it's whatever your, as Dave Potts likes to say, it's whatever you're listening to. If you're on your phone, it's going to sound like your phone speakers. If you're listening to this on your smart fridge or, whatever, it's going to sound like your smart fridge speakers. So, with that being said, let's listen to 20 seconds of Let Me Hear This, and then we'll compare the two. Hold on, I'm having a problem. Okay, there we go. That was very weird. The Sony MDRs, I guess maybe they weren't plugged in all the way. I don't know. Only on camera. Only when I try to film, right? Alright. So... So I'm not, like, hearing any snapping with my fingers when there's music on. Okay, so that's about 20 seconds. So I don't hear anything. Obviously, this kind of seals you in. Some of that stuff is a bit, like, clippy at the top. Just so you know, I do set my volume based off my amp. So everything is... on like Spotify and on my computer set to 100, and then I just adjust my amp. So, but yeah. Alright. That's what I'm used to, right? That's the sound I'm used to. So, let's take the Sony's off. Let's put the Samsons on. Right, left. And you know what? These actually feel a little bit better because I'm going to talk about maybe it's because of this, but it feels slightly less noticeable. What do I mean by that? Like, you gotta be a little bit more technical at them, right? I feel I could lay down and these would disappear sooner. So like when you're sitting there and you're listening to something and you just kind of forget that you're wearing headphones, and you go from wearing headphones to music's just being beamed into your head. These feel like that. Like I like the band's a little cold right here, but that is very quickly going away. So I feel like very quickly I could be laying down and I would not notice them. Also, these pads feel a lot more plush. They're like a felt rather than a leather, like on the MDRs. So these feel a little bit more comfortable. Okay, all the way in. Let's hit play. Yeah. So you see me snapping my fingers there is because, these are open backs, and so, they let shit in where, closed backs try to keep everything out. And I use earbuds when I'm walking around my room. Bluetooth is Bluetooth as Bluetooth does as Bluetooth is. And so it's kind of laggy sometimes. These are some Sony's, Jesus, even the wow. I actually know what these are. Hold on. I know an easy way. Open my phone. Open my Bluetooth settings. Details. Turn on. So they're Sony WF-C710Ns. And they're translucent because I'm a 2000s baby. Bite me. I use these when I'm walking around my phone room. And these are actually quite good. These are actually very good Bluetooth. Sound quality wise. I have issues with the Bluetooth, but they're... anyways. So... the soundstage was a little bit bigger. Like, it sounded like that drum that starts at, like, around the 5 seconds mark. It sounded like it was slightly farther away and less, hitting the top ends. Or, like, clipping. So let me go ahead and change over to this and move myself down here. So on the left here, this is squiggling. This is just who I found. So don't take this to mean anything at all. Okay. Inspect. Just trying to see if I can get rid of all this stuff here. Does not look like it. Anyways, so on the left here we have the Sony MDRs. This is their frequency response. And so a frequency response is essentially just how something sounds when it's pushing sound. How good is the bass, the mids, and the like top end. Watch any Dank Pot's video where he talks about headphones, and he explains this way better than me. So the Sonys are over here on the left, and as you can see, they're pretty... So the reference headphones should be pretty flat, from what I understand. They should be, like, flat because you want everything to just sound neutral. Most people prefer something with a V shape. If I wonder, are similar to XM4s. I would assume. So that's their response. As you can see, the reference headphones are punching a little higher in the top ends. And this is getting a little bit more bass, which is something consumers want. So since the XM5s, and by extension the XM4s and XM6s, are consumer grade, you will want that. You will want them to be more tailored. So there's this thing where called the V response curve, where essentially there's high bass and then high top end, and then there's a dip in the mids. And you can see that the Samsons are actually doing that over here. So this is the bass. If I hide that, so the bass is here. So we don't get as much sub bass according to this, but we're getting about the same. So when we get to this, like 40, so yeah, so that's about their responses. That's about the response difference between the two of these. So let me go ahead and recover my screen so I can, open my Spotify. Close tabs. Close tabs. So obviously the Sonys are going to respond a little bit better because Sony's a brand, these are studio headphones. They're meant to be this, even though these say, professional studio reference headphones. I mean, they would work, but yeah, they are a little less accurate, I suppose is the word. But I actually have a playlist here. I won't show it to you. But it's just called headphones test playlist. So it's for when I'm testing different headphones, whether that's Bluetooth, closed backs, open backs, IEMs, or bone conduction. These are terrible. Don't get them. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop recording. I'm going to play one of the songs. I'm going to pick a song on there. I think I'll probably pick St. Chroma. And I'll listen to it on the Samsons, and then I'll listen to it again on the Sonys. Or vice versa, whichever one I decide. And then I'll start recording again and tell you what I think. Yeah, so let's do that. Okay, so I just got done listening to, and this is the order I listened to, St. Chroma by Tyler, the Creator, Peekaboo by Kendrick Lamar off GNX. So St. Chroma off Chromacopia, Peekaboo by Kendrick Lamar featuring Easy Chike off of GNX. Oh god, Spotify's being weird. Empires off of by the Electric Swing Circus by It Flew By, and Remembrance by Balmore from the album All Is Wild, All Is Silent. I noticed, and something I've never had before, is that everything sounds less compressed. But not just that, I'm hearing directionality that I have never heard before. So, like, when it was Remembrance, which is one of my favorite songs, the initial chord instrument, a guitar, whatever it is, it's coming, to me it sounds like it's coming from here. Like front left. And then the next one comes and it sounds like it's coming from right here. In the back right. And then all of a sudden the vocals start to come in along with the next set of like chord instruments. And those two chord instruments sound like they fill up these spaces here. So I'm still hearing, and it's also feeling it up here, but I'm also still hearing the initial chord, like guitar here, but it's layered beneath that next loud chord. So, whatever it is, it could be a fucking harp. I don't know. But I'm still hearing this here, and then it sounds like the vocals are wrapping around from in front of me. And then when it pitches up and becomes higher tempo, it's like maintaining that. I'm able to hear where it comes from. So, another example is in the in Peekaboo, there's the like little drum, like a kick or little whatever it is. It could be a synthesizer. There's that little drum. It's specifically coming from the left ear, like right here, not fully in front of me, like right here, in between, like on my side and in front of me, right here. And I have never experienced that before with a set of headphones. Whether it's the MDRs, earbuds. A while ago, I'll relist them. I think I privated them. I'll relist them. I posted a series of videos about Skull Candy and their horrible fucking headphones. And it was the Hesh Freeze and the Crushers. And I never noticed it with them either, but those were Bluetooth as well. And oh god, those will be. I'll link a playlist down below with every one of those, so you can understand my despise for the Skull Candy brand. But yeah, that was very interesting. So I'm gonna stop recording here. I'm gonna plug in the MDRs and re-listen to that order of songs and see how it goes. Okay, so I just got done listening to the same 4 songs on the Sony MDRs. The only difference between how I normally listen to my MDRs and how I did it this time is I took the 4.4 balanced adapter that came with it, and I said, fuck that, and took the one from the Samsons and screwed them on. Because of that weird audio thing. So, just toss that in a drawer. So yeah, honestly, if I'm being really, really honest, it's weird when you get used to something, you don't notice like how it behaves, but it's just how it is. Everything was a lot more closed in. Obviously, they're closed backs, so everything was like really closed in, but it was also really quieter. Like that the beginning part of Chromacopia, right? But the next part where they start the vocals come in. That was way toned down. Like much more soft spoken. And also it was like just everywhere where it was, coming from. And Peekaboo, that drum, that little the little snare drum or whatever, it was, I could tell obviously it's over here because these are stereo. They're not mono, they're stereo. So I could tell it was in the left channel, but only once we was in the majority, the bulk of the song, and the snare drum was like being put through a synthesizer where like it was hitting harder, topping out harder. Could I then pick up that that drum, that little snare drum or whatever the hell it is, was not just to the left, but forward left. But even still then, I couldn't quite pick out where forward left. Like, is it right here forward left? Is it right here? Whereas with the Samsons, it was very clearly like right here. And so I could tell it was in this range when it was, do like that. When it does that, you could instantly tell it's somewhere here. Whereas when it's doing the do, it's just on the left. It's just a snare drum on the left. Very interesting. Empires. The entirety of Empires was like so much more mellowed out. The bass was less punchy, which is weird because we saw on the response graphs that the Samsons, which I have right here, I just put them here because my desk is a bit of a clutter right now. It's not cluttered, it's just I have stuff in places, and those places are full. These didn't get the same, they didn't go as high decibel-wise on bass. They weren't going as high. They were lower. And so when these got to their highest parts in like the sub bass and the bass, like where they were topping out at, that was like the bottom end of these Sonys. But yet these sounded way bassier. And if you don't know the song Empires, I don't blame you. It's electro swing, right? Songs, like if I'm like, oh, I can't really get to the skip button right now. Oh well, whatever. I'll just let it play. And I'll be fine with it. So, but like the bass and like everything was just like way on the MDRs was just way like lower and like more muted. And everything was around me. There was like no definition of where stuff was coming from. Like it was coming in either in the left or in the right, but it wasn't like here. Whereas the other songs, I was getting some positionality where like I said, in like Peekaboo, that snare drum when it went to the, do, I could tell it's left channel somewhere in this range. Like from middle of my head to the front. In Chromacopia, the whispering is it's coming up in both sides, but it's feeling like it's behind me, right? It's somewhere like just behind me. And it's more clear on the Samsons, but I could still kind of get it from the MDRs that somewhere, like, someone's behind me whispering. But yeah, Empires was just like very, like, which is really weird. And then we get to Remembrance. Now, Remembrance is again, it's like one of my favorite songs. It's basically pure instrumental, and the vocals isn't really like, come dance with me, let's dance the night away. Yeah, it's not like that. It's more like humming, And it's really weird. So the first guitar is coming all over. So in the MDRs, right, with the Samsons, it was like front left, like right here, this range. So if I was sitting in the middle of a stage, the first guitars or string instruments right here. If I'm looking straight ahead, it's right here. With the MDRs, it was everywhere, like 360 on the left channel, which was really weird. Then the next string instrument, which is maybe a different kind of guitar, like a bass guitar or something like that, it was still very clearly coming from behind me over here on the MDRs, just like it was on the Samson, which was interesting, but it was bleeding. So it's like, you can hear it, you can tell it's coming from here, but you can't tell if it's exactly here or here or here, but you can tell it's behind you to the right. And then the third string instrument, the bigger one, came in, and that bleed, everything was like layered together, but it started to like merge more. So on the left, that first guitar was merging with the next big string instrument, or when it starts pumping up in tempo, it's like merging together. And in the right channel, this bleed of that bass guitar, for I don't know if that's actually the right instrument they use, but like that bleed all of a sudden grew, and then it's like, is it here maybe, or is it here maybe? Whereas on the Samsons, it was very much clearly the entire time right here, and then all around it was the next big string, the third string instrument, whatever was bumping up the tempo. And the weirdest thing, on the MDRs, the vocals were coming like right here. So, it's like string, like guitar, bass guitar, giant bass guitar, whatever. Here and here, all kind of filling in the gaps. And then on the Samsons, that's the Samsons, and then the vocals were right here. Like in front of me. So there's like multiple people like right in front of me, or like the vocals coming from straight in front of me, and then surrounding the vocals is that. Whereas with the MDRs, it was all the string instruments, all the instruments wrapping around me, and then there was a gap, and that right dead on is where the vocal was coming from, which is weirdly better, but also worse, because like it's more directional. So it's like, where's the vocal come from? Right here. Whereas with the Samson, it's like, where's the vocal come from? Here. But it also felt more narrow. So I keep looking over this way because I have a vertical monitor, and that's where I can see my OBS open. So, and my camera used to be on the top of my thing. So it's weird. I do like these a lot, these Samsons. I'm probably going to switch them more than anything. One, because they do feel like stuff does feel bigger, but also because I hate this cable. Like, I like these headphones, I hate this cable. I hate this cable with a passion. I understand the concept, and it's like, again, if you watch Dank Pods, if you don't, go watch Dank Pods. But he explains, it's the idea is that when you need a short cable, it's just sitting on your desk, it's all bunched up together, it's a short cable. And then when you need a long cable, it's a long cable. The problem is it never works. So it's never short enough when you're on your desk, and it's never long enough. And when you stretch it out, there's this weird tension, and then if you don't have it fully extended, it like sags and it puts pressure on your head. It's obviously Sony make fantastic headphones, and I will end up inevitably messing with more headphones as time goes on. But I like these Samsons a lot. I mean, oh god, I bought these Sony WF-C710Ns. Is I think what I said they were? It's something like that. God, Sony, you need better product naming. Because I had a WXM4s, and then they started to break. It was just mostly plastic housing, but they worked. And then I moved cross country, and they broke. And so I replaced them with the TruthEars, the IEMs, which are right here, which sound fantastic. I just prefer full-size headphones that cover my ear. And some other earbuds that I saw that looked cool, and they just were so weak. And then I bought a new phone, and I got Galaxy Buds 2, and then I lost the ear tips for them, and the battery was dying, and I just was like, well, you know, it's like they're still holding charge, but the charge is getting worse, and I can't find ear tips for them anymore, and I don't want to buy third party, because that's all I could find was third party. So I was like, okay, I'll just go back to using these. And I got them refurbished from Samsung as well, so they were already, you know, secondhand. And those, damn, they're Moondrops. They were Moondrops, somethings. Don't buy them. They were Moondrop, like, wireless earbuds. Amazon. Hold on. Actually, let's not use Amazon on my primary web browser. Thank you. Because I'm logged in on there. Amazon. Moondrop. Here we go. So if I shrink myself, these things. The Moondrop Space Travels. They're cheap as shit, and I thought they looked cool. They sound terrible, though. And they never fit well. Or, like, they don't sound terrible, but they sound really muted. Like, if you use any other pair of headphones, and then you, like say you're sitting at your computer using a pair of anythings, IEMs, for example, because that's what I was using. So, I was using my TruthEars at my desk, and then when I would get up and just want to walk around, not be on the computer, just listen to music, or I was leaving, going somewhere, and I was putting in these, and so I would immediately switch over to be listening to music again, like no time delay. They just sound so quiet and so low. It's ridiculous. And I do not recommend these. Do not buy these. I see on here they have a second gen, which, again, looks cool. So maybe these are better, but my opinion of these is the same as my opinion of Skull Candies. Don't buy these craps. Don't buy Skull Candy. Yeah, just don't buy Skull Candy. Don't buy the Crusher, don't buy the Heshes, don't buy none of it. Because it's all junk, and Skull Candy sucks. And that's not me, like, just hating on them for nothing. Again, I will link the damn playlist I had. Videos where I talked about these, and you will be able to see for yourself that they aren't great, and they I mean, sound wise they were fine. They were constantly breaking though. So anyways, but yeah, so I bought these to finally replace those damn Moondrops, and those Moondrops they're still here somewhere just in case, along with the Galaxy Buds, because if I really have to, I'll buy some third-party ear tips and for like $9 and just, but I bought these because I had XM4s, and I know Sony is well known for headphones, and these are great. Bluetooth's kind of fucking spotty on them, though. Like, surprisingly spotty. And they could fit better in my ear. And yes, these are the right ear tips. They make a full seal. It's just, I don't know, maybe I have greasy ears. Anyways, so this video has gone on way longer than I expected. But I will be... if there's Amazon links, I know there's Amazon link for this because I bought this on there. If there's Amazon links for, you know, these and the MDRs, I will link them down below. No, they are not affiliates. I'm not making money off this. I'm just linking shit to you, so if you want them, you can get them. So all you have to do is scroll down, click on them, and buy them. I will try to make sure if I put the link down there, they'll be either bought and sold. They'll be shipped and sold by Amazon, or they'll be shipped by Amazon. Basically, if you have Prime, you'll get them in 2 days. So, because I feel like that's more trustworthy than random ass seller. But like I said, I think I'll be switching to the Samsons. These are actually quite nice. Oh, and I did mention, like, I do think the Samsons will, you know, disappear on my head. And yeah, so the top band took longer to disappear than the band on here. But that could be because on the MDRs, I've worn them for so long that I've worn in the band, so it's perfect for my head. But like the leather on the MDR's headband just instantly melted away. The ear cuffs never. The leather ear cuffs never, ever, ever, ever went away. And the way of the cord was not helping that, so I could like feel that. It's not like uncomfortable; it's just like annoying. So yeah, this is like just a casual video about Sony MDRs versus Samson 850s, SR850s. Not really an audiophile channel, not really any of that, but like just making a video because why not? So I hope you enjoyed. This video went on way, way longer than I was expecting. And the synopsis of this is, DankPods was correct. The Samson SR850s are a good deal. Sorry, I've been awake since like 4 o'clock, and it's 1300. It's like 13, yeah, it's 13, 12. So, I'm getting a little tired. And yes, I did clean up the bed a little bit in between the portion of this video talking about how the Samsons, how I thought about them, and this portion. I had to go grab a delivery, and I just did it. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. I have been Adam the Gallant, and have a wonderful day. See ya.